Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the AI Read Listeners Digest, the audio version of the Focus Now training newsletter, put out as a weekly Men Talking Mindfulness podcast drop. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter yet, head over to newsletter.focusnowtraining.com or simply text MTM to 33777 and get on the list. All right, let's get into it.
A few months back, the guys sat down with Bryan Reeves, former U.S. Air Force captain turned relationship coach, internationally known author, and the guy who wrote something that tens of millions of people have read. A blog post that became the book Choose Her Every Day or Leave Her. John picked up the book after hearing Bryan speak at a masculinity conference, read it twice, and said it changed things in his own marriage. So this conversation goes places. The line that started it all is worth hearing. Bryan wrote, "I spent 5 years hurting a good woman by staying with her, but never fully choosing her." When that blog went live, it exploded. Women immediately knew what he was talking about. Men read it and felt like they'd been slapped across the face, because a lot of them were doing the exact same thing without realizing it. Bryan is honest about what this looks like. A guy gets the relationship, checks the box. She's not starving, not bleeding from the eyes, not cheating. So he moves on to the next problem. Meanwhile, the connection slowly drains out and he doesn't even notice. John and Will both felt that one. But the core of the conversation goes deeper than just showing up more. Bryan talks about the paradox every man in a relationship has to learn to live inside. You have to care deeply about how your partner feels, and also, on some level, not care at the same time. If you care so much that you lose yourself trying to keep her happy, you disappear. You become the nice guy who never speaks up, never advocates for what he needs, probably doesn't even know what he needs. And then one day, that guy explodes because he's been swallowing everything for months. Bryan says, a lot of men bounce between those two poles. Total sacrifice or total detachment. And the real work is learning to hold both at once. He gives the guys a question he uses with couples who are stuck in power struggles. Instead of, "What do I want?" or "What does she want?" he asks, "What would serve we?" Not you alone, not me alone. What would serve the relationship itself? Bryan says things open up inside that question that you can't get to any other way. John asked about fear, because in Bryan's course, men write down what they're afraid of and share it with the group. Bryan says 2 fears show up over and over. The first is, "I'm not worthy of love." One man in his group put it as simply as, "I'm a piece of shit." Hard to receive love when that's your operating story. The second fear is, "I'm going to mess this up. I don't know how to fix this." And for men whose entire identity is built around solving problems, not being able to solve the problem of the upset woman in front of them goes straight to the core of their shame. The mindfulness piece ties all of it together. Bryan started doing mindfulness work in his 20s, a full decade before he started doing relationship work. But he didn't connect the two for years. He tells this story about studying the Tao Te Ching while in a relationship, thinking he had his stuff figured out. And in the middle of a fight, his girlfriend grabbed the book and shredded the cover right in front of his face. He knew how to sit on a cushion. He had no idea how to apply any of it inside a relationship. 25 years later, he does. And the practice is simple. When things escalate, he steps away, takes a breath, creates enough space to ask, "What's my role in this?" Not who's right. Not how do I win. What did I do that wasn't skillful? He says, without mindfulness, he doesn't have access to that reflection. Without it, he's not apologizing for 98% of the things he should probably apologize for. Bryan also dropped something about arguing that came from the Gottman Institute, which has studied couples in laboratory settings for over 30 years. They can watch the first 3 minutes of a conversation and predict with 95% accuracy how it's going to end. Connection or disconnection. That means if you're 10 minutes into an argument, you've already gone too far. There's no solving anything from that place. The conversation ends with Bryan's answer to when leaving is the most loving choice. His take: always leave in love. Meaning, when you've done everything you know how to do, gone to therapy, consulted trusted men who have your partner's back too, and it still isn't working, you can walk away without being the victim. You see your part. You own your choices. You don't carry that poison into the next relationship. Bryan's book, Choose Her Every Day or Leave Her, is available now. His men's program, Elevate Your Relationship, is where John does his own work. And his annual men's group, Elevate 2026, works with 10 men over a full year with an in-person retreat in North Carolina. Find him at bryanreeves.com. Bryan with a Y. Also, John and Will have a new mindfulness and meditation course coming out called Awareness to Action, or A2A. Sign up at the link in the comments to stay in the loop as they get closer to opening up the course and get their free Train Your Mind app. That's this week. If this one landed for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. We'll be back next Thursday. Take care, everyone.